It's somewhat of a wake-up call. You need to do this because it's not a matter of if, but it's when. And maintaining control by becoming FIAR compliant within your own time frame. The good news is that the technology and the systems you need to get started are available immediately. It's just a matter of formulating the right plan to put that implementation plan in place. But there are plenty of experts that can help you get there. One more change to note is that there are in fact more items in play. That not only does your asset tag need to be IUID compliant, and the IUID data, as I've mentioned, has become now the master data source for the government property, which is the IUID registry. But that $5,000 US threshold for reporting the value of items is all removed from this at this point going forward, and that all serially and non-serially managed government furnished property now has to be reported. The GFP managers can now think of IUID not as the exception but the rule. So what we're suggesting that you do here is listen to the wake-up call and think about what's at risk. It's always critical to stay ahead of these compliance curves. That allows you to control your own time frame when implementing this technology. We've seen many contractors approach us where they've already been issued a corrective action. And yeah, sometimes a corrective action will initiate the kind of budgetary allocation and commitment for time frame and priorities it takes in order to get something to happen. But you may compromise a little bit of your own sanity when you're under the spotlight of a corrective action within your contract or multiple contracts as it may be. You can also, in staying ahead of the curve, manage your resources better, because this initiative is not just a one-person point solution that you put in and then you set it and forget it. You actually have to engage other areas of your operation to make sure that everyone across your enterprise is doing this consistently. It will avoid interruptions in your operations. It'll minimize the mistakes and the potential for mistakes, and it will optimize your competitiveness as a contractor that has to live and breathe these kind of policies, and it'll have you look very smart on behalf of the programs that you support when you've got all of this under your control at both ends of the end item spectrum and the government property reporting spectrum. To stay ahead, we know in this kind of environment you have to be competitive. And we compare the contractor A to contractor B and being ahead of the curve versus compliant. So to be ahead means to be MIL standard 130 compliant and 129 compliant, I'll add. It'll enable quicker bid response for new projects that you can take advantage of. It'll give you accurate project estimates with minimizing or eliminating any shipments or returns or even rejected invoices. And at the end, you'll build more confidence with your programs you're supporting and win more contracts, whether it's maintenance on top of an initial contract or net new contracts into your business and your operation. For those behind the curve, they aren't 129 or 130 compliant yet. They have potentially delayed bid responses with unrealistic project estimating, costly returns or even rejected invoices, and potentially lost contract opportunities. So that's from a contractor standpoint, what's at risk. For those that manage property within the walls of the branches of the military, know what you have and where it is with IUID. So the property manager who's staying ahead of the curve has full control and property management visibility. They know the condition and the readiness of their assets and inventory. They can achieve quick item accountability, and they can facilitate audit readiness at the snap of the fingers. Those behind the curve have inaccurate or incomplete records, to the tune as much as 60% of records within property management systems are either incomplete or inaccurate based on those who are still managing with something as simple as a spreadsheet. Items are lost, and duplicate inventory now needs to be processed, which is very expensive, and also can eliminate an ability to be ready to support the mission. It can be very laborious and error prone to go through and try and control inventory manually or using spreadsheets, and it can be an audit readiness nightmare. In many manufacturing operations we work in and day out with our systems, it's almost inevitable those organizations that are priding themselves on an ISO certification, when the ISO auditors come in and they say, where is this calibration device that's supposed to be on this production line, that they pick right out of the spreadsheet, it's always the one that they can't locate. So this eliminates those issues, provides the control you need, whether it's the ISO auditors or whether it's the DCMA auditors that come in within your operation.